What's good, guys? It's finally time. Last minute predictions. We are finally here for the last minute predictions for UFC Vegas 104. Obviously, we're going to be breaking down the entire card from top to bottom, but we have to mention how a lot of people missed weight. So we're going to mention it right now. Only fighters to miss weight were Diyar by 5 pounds, which is actually insane. Chidi and Chukwuani missed weight, I believe, by 1.5 pounds. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Musasa missed weight, but I believe he re-weighed in and weighed in at 136.5. So it's still a little bit overweight, but we're going to be breaking down this entire card. At least all the fights are still on because, we've had 10 fights in a row for 2 weeks. So imagine if we had 10 fights this card, we would have had 10 fights for each Saturday for 3 weeks in a row. And I'd rather a little bit more fights, quantity over quality or whatever. Yep, let's go. Thank you guys for being here, guys. Let's go. Without further ado, let's break down the first fight. Josias Musasa versus Carlos Vera. Earlier this week, Josias was a minus 500. Carlos Vera was a plus 375. Now, Josias Musasa is a minus 800. Carlos Vera is a plus 520, which is insane because the odds have moved drastically. Josias is making his UFC debut. He's very fast, has very good technique, has height and reach on his side, and he's pretty good defensively wise as well, and he always looks for a finish. Very good power for bantamweight, 26 years old, young, and he tends to headhunt a little bit more often than I'd like him to. His most recent bout is a close split decision win over Antari Tanzilovi on Dana White Contender Series, matched up against a Venezuelan Carlos Vera. We know Carlos Vera trains with Ryan Hall. Very good. He's very good. He's compact, a great athlete, and he has good movement. He tends to move while striking. He's very well-rounded. We're going to go over the props. He can be very creative at times in the striking department, but I will say, guys, I'm going Josias Musasa. It's a massive favorite on the card. I think you guys aren't surprised. Let's go over the props. Musasa by KO minus 130. Musasa by sub plus 2,000. Musasa by decision plus 210, which is not out of the realm of possibility. Carlos Vera by KO plus 2,300. Carlos Vera by sub plus 1,200. Carlos Vera by decision plus 1,100. Massive odds for Carlos Vera. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, plus 160. No, minus 210. I like that this fight doesn't go the distance at a minus 210. Over 2.5 plus 120. Under 2.5 minus 168. But I kept a track on that under 2.5. In under 24 hours, that under 2.5 went from a minus 152 to a minus 168. So I recommend you guys jump at that under 2.5. It could be a very good value. Fight ends by KO minus 150. Fight ends by points plus 150. Fight ends by sub plus 850. Carlos Vera by sub plus 900. We know he trains with Ryan Hall. Carlos Vera by KO or points plus 850. Carlos Vera by sub or points plus 650. Musasa by KO on points minus 600. Musasa by sub or points plus 175. So we know what we're going to get here. We're either going to get a Musasa KO or maybe a Musasa lackluster close decision. I'm going to go Musasa by KO at a minus 130. Give me that this fight doesn't go the distance at a minus 210. Give me the under 2.5 at a minus 168. And give me Musasa by KO on points at a minus 600. Just in case it gets a little sloppy and it goes to a split decision. Let's go Musasa for the win. It's about time. Welcome to the UFC, my guy. Another girl who's making her UFC debut. Duben versus Carli Judice. Now, Duben has a lot of hype, and this is a little bit of a weird position for me to be in because we don't know a lot about Duben, and we have to see if she's going to be able to prevail. This is when we find out what she's really about. Yuneisy Duben was a plus 385 earlier the week, and Carli Judice was a minus 500. Now, Duben is a plus 285, Carli Judice minus 375. We know Carli Judice is much longer, but I believe she doesn't have a win in the UFC yet. This is where we find out what Duben's really about. Duben is a real athlete. Very rarely do we see a woman MMA fighter perform the way Duben does. She is amazing and she's a freak of nature with very deceptive power. If you know Duben, you can remember her highlight reel over Shannon Clark. I believe she grabbed the leg and she hit it overhand. Massive upset. And guess what? She's a massive underdog again. Carli Judice is 3-2 in her last 5. Very well-rounded, good low kicks, has very good cardio, and can get up immediately after getting taken down. She may be more well-rounded than Duben, but no matter what, I think this fight's going to be competitive, and I wouldn't be surprised if this fight might go to split decision. We know Carli Judice lost by split decision to Gabriela Fernandez and was hit more often than I'd imagined she would be hit in that fight. Carli Judice is taller. She has the reach on her side and experience as well, but I'll give the power edge to Duben. This is going to be one of the hardest fights to pick, guys. I don't recommend betting on this fight, minus 1-800 gambler type of fight, but let's go over the props. Let's go. Duben by KO plus 650. Duben by sub plus 2,400. Duben by points plus 650. which is insane. Carli Judice by KO plus 370. Carli Judice by sub plus 700. Carli Judice by points minus 105. So if you're on the Carli Judice side, take Carli Judice by points at a minus 105. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, minus 160. No, plus 126. Over 2.5, minus 196. Under 2.5, plus 152. Fight ends by KO plus 210. Fight ends by points minus 175. Fight ends by sub plus 600. Duben by KO on points plus 310. Duben by sub or points plus 550. Carli Judice by KO on points minus 240. Carli Judice by sub or points minus 165. This is why I hate women's MMA. It's always a little bit of a weird, tricky spot. Give me that this fight ends by points at a minus 175. Give me the over 2.5 at a minus 196. Give me that this fight goes the distance at a minus 160. Give me Duben by KO at a plus 650. Give me Duben money line. And I'm going to be taking Duben by KO on points at a plus 310, guys. I'm going to be taking the underdog in Duben. Yuneisy Duben, let's see what you got. Give me Duben by KO on points at a plus 310. I like her money line, and I like that this fight goes the distance at a minus 160 and the over 2.5 at a minus 196. Let's go Duben for the win. Let's go. All right, next fight. Here we go. Josiane Nunes versus Priscila Cachoeira. We know Priscila Cachoeira is a little bit, she's on the tail end of her career, I'd say. Josiane Nunes minus 225 earlier in this week. Priscila Cachoeira plus 190. Now Josiane Nunes minus 188. Priscila is a plus 152. They have 15 fights combined at UFC level, and they got one takedown in between them. I don't think the wrestling is going to be a factor in this fight. Cachoeira has been finished 4 times, but all by the submission. Josiane Nunes, a powerhouse, a freak of nature, a brute of pure strength. She is 3-2 in her last 5, and she can sometimes struggle with a good grappler, but her hands are very, very good, and that's her bread and butter. She's very great with volume, and she's a former soccer player, so she has that blast kick. Good overhands, very good low center of gravity, and she hits harder than Priscila, in my opinion. Her most recent bout is a split decision loss to Jacqueline Cavalcanti, which is a pretty good. It's aging pretty good. Matched up against Priscila Cachoeira, another powerful striker, but not as much pop in her shots. Good pressure, moves forward. 2-3 in her last 5, and she has a negative striking differential. She needs to eat one to give one. And she lost by submission to Jasmine Josias, who we know is matched up against Jessica Andrade. Let's go. Now, one thing that's very tricky about this fight is that the over 2.5 or under 2.5 is locked. If you go on FanDuel, I don't know if on other bookies it's locked, but it's been locked for over 24 hours. I looked last night, and it was locked. The over 2.5, under 2.5 was locked. I don't know why. I think the bookies are onto something. Nunes by KO plus 380. Nunes by sub plus 2100. Nunes by decision plus 125. Priscila Cachoeira by KO plus 440. Priscila Cachoeira by sub plus 2700. Priscila Cachoeira by decision plus 370. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, minus 176. No, plus 138. Over 2.5, under 2.5 is locked for me. I have no idea why it is locked. If you guys have the over 2.5, guys, let me know what its price tag at. Nunes by KO minus 180. Nunes by sub plus 105. No. Nunes by KO on points minus 180. Nunes by sub or points plus 105. Priscila Cachoeira by KO on points plus 160. Priscila Cachoeira by sub or points plus 320. So, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a risk because we know Nunes has power. Give me that this fight goes the distance at a minus 176. Give me Josiane Nunes money line at a minus 188. And give me Josiane Nunes by KO or on points at a minus 180. And I will take the over 2.5. I don't know what its price tag at, guys. It's locked for me, but I'm going to be taking that over 2.5. I'm going to be taking that this fight goes the distance. Minus 176. Over 2.5. Josiane Nunes money line minus 188. And Josiane Nunes by KO on points at a minus 180. Let's go. I think she should be able to beat Priscila Cachoeira in a very tough fight. It's going to be tough very early. We know Priscila Cachoeira always is competitive. 148, let's go. André Lima, he touches the heart of Daniel Barez to see if he's a little bit nervous. I like André Lima. He's like, are you nervous? Are you nervous? What's going on, bro? Are you here? And Daniel Barez is all laughs and giggles. André Lima was a minus 280. Daniel Barez was a plus 240. Now André Lima's a minus 420. Daniel Barez plus 310. André Lima has showed good wrestling against Felipe Dos Santos. André Lima at times can be pressured on the back foot, but he has great footwork overall. André Lima is a beautiful counterpuncher. Good combos, and he strikes to the body. André Lima has a great get-up game and great scrambles. We saw that in the Felipe Dos Santos fight. Dos Santos has very good pressure, which kind of made André Lima uncomfortable, and it forced him to wrestle. Lima has a cool hat that he wears after he wins as well, and that's what he's wearing right now. That's the hat that I like. Lima has decent cardio, matched up against Daniel Barez, an explosive freak of nature, fast hands, great takedowns, and can find a sub. Daniel Barez chases submission over position way too often, though, and he can get a little sloppy. Barez can get taken down as well. Daniel Barez just recently beat Victor Altameriano. Daniel Barez showed very good striking in that fight, but he got a little tired as he got a little late. One of my most anticipated fights on the entire card. Let's go over the props. Lima by KO plus 310. Lima by sub plus 700. Lima by decision plus 105. You guys know I like Lima by decision all day at a plus 105. Daniel Barez by KO plus 850. Daniel Barez by sub plus 1,300. Daniel Barez by decision plus 700. It's insane how these odds are massively wide. There's so much plus money on Daniel Barez. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, minus 142. No, plus 112. Over 2.5, minus 180. Under 2.5, plus 140. Fight ends by KO plus 200. Fight ends by sub plus 500. Fight ends by points, minus 155. Barez by KO on points plus 400. Barez by sub or points plus 500. Lima by KO on points minus 250. Lima by submission on points minus 155. So, I'm going to be taking Lima by decision, plus 105. I'm going to take that this fight goes the distance at a minus 142. Give me the over 2.5 at a minus 180. And I'm going to be taking Andre Lima by submission on points at a minus 155. And then I'm going to take him Lima by KO on points at a minus 250 just to play it a little safe. I like the sub or points at a minus 155. You get a little bit more value. And if he wins by decision, it fits your price tag. Let's go, Lima. I think you should be able to win this fight. 29-28. Let's go, Lima, for the win. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. It's about time I get to see Lima fight. This is another banger scrap. An absolutely amazing scrap. Sam Hughes versus Stephanie Luciano. We know Sam Hughes is a lot of people's dog. A lot of people like Sam Hughes. She kind of scared me a little bit with this little bit of a jump scare. I'm glad that the camera's not on her face. All right, plus 215 for Sam Hughes. Stephanie Luciano minus 255 earlier. Now Stephanie Luciano minus 235. Sam Hughes plus 186. I think the money's coming in on both sides. Sam Hughes is 4-5 in the UFC, 3-2 in her last 5. Sam Hughes can try and wrestle at times. She moves forward. She has a negative striking differential, and she's very tough. She's kind of like the Darren Elkins of woman MMA, and she eats one to give one. Her most recent bout is against Victoria Dudakova. She put her cardio on full display. And I don't really like her losses to Yasmin Uruguay, Piera Rodriguez, because we know Yasmin lost too brutally by Ketlin Souza. And I don't know. I don't really like that loss from Sam Hughes to Yasmin Uruguay. A bit of a red flag. Stephanie Luciano is looking to stay busy, work in the striking department, hold you against the cage, drag you down and hold you down and hold you there. None of these girls are dangerous, but that doesn't mean this won't be a good scrap. Stephanie really impressed me with her win over Tatiana Alenkar because I picked Alenkar in Dana White Contender Series, and it goes to a draw. Then they rematch, and Stephanie wins that fight decisively. Let's go. I like the plus 3.5 for Sam Hughes. I believe it's like a minus 200. It's not that bad, plus 3.5. I think she can win the round, and this fight definitely goes the distance. Let's go over the props. Stephanie by KO plus 850. Stephanie by sub plus 2,600. Stephanie by decision minus 150. Sam Hughes by KO plus 1,800. Sam Hughes by sub plus 1,500. Sam Hughes by decision plus 260. Let me get that straight. Sam Hughes by decision is plus 260. She can definitely win that fight. Why wouldn't you sprinkle that? Will this fight go the distance? Yes, minus 600. No, plus 380. Over 2.5, minus 700. Under 2.5, plus 440. There's no value in that over 2.5. Luciano by KO on points, minus 220. Luciano by sub points, minus 175. Sam Hughes by KO on points, plus 210. Sam Hughes by sub points, plus 210. If I'm gonna take the plus 3.5 for Sam Hughes. I think she can definitely fit that price tag. But I'm gonna be taking Stephanie Luciano for the win. Stephanie by decision at a minus 150. I'm going to take that this fight goes the distance at a minus 600. It's juice to the grills, though. And give me Luciano by submission on points at a minus 175 for more value. Let's go, my girl. Let's go. Hopefully she can win that fight because Sam Hughes is a dog. 237. Let's go. Excuse me, guys. Let's go. Seung Yu versus AJ Cunningham. Seung Yu was a minus 700. AJ Cunningham plus 500. Now, Seung Yu minus 650. And we know AJ Cunningham is a plus 440. The last time we saw Seung Yu was at UFC Macau, where I picked him to beat Judice by decision. And we know Seung Yu is a hard wrestler looking to take you down and work. He attempts over 20 plus takedowns per fight. He's like a mini Marab, but he can actually maintain top control. He transitions through your guard like a hot knife through butter. Seung Yu's red flag is that he can get really messy in the striking department. And he had 2 takedowns out of 5 attempts in his last fight at UFC Macau, where that's a little bit of a red flag. He needs the takedown here. Matched up against AJ Cunningham. Massive underdog, good striker, gets hit a little bit more often than I'd like him to, but he's always good and he always looks for good pressure, good head, good low kicks, and he can wrestle as well offensively, I think a little bit better than defensively. The last time we saw AJ Cunningham was a TKO loss to Ludovic Klein in 4 minutes and 36 seconds into round 1, but that fight was short notice for AJ, to be fair. Let's go over the props. It's going to be an absolute banger scrap. Over the props, Seung Yu by KO plus 440, Seung Yu by sub plus 200, Seung Yu by decision plus 150. Give me Seung Yu by decision plus 150, AJ by KO plus 1,300, AJ by sub plus 1,600, AJ by decision plus 1,000. AJ by decision out of plus 1,000 is tempting, but I'm not going to jump on that. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, plus 112, no, minus 142. Over 2.5, minus 118. Under 2.5, minus 108. It's a little bit tricky right there. Fight ends by points, plus 105. Fight ends by sub, plus 165. Fight ends by KO, plus 320. It seems like the bookies think that Seung Yu is going to get a submission. Seung Yu by KO on points, minus 140. Seung Yu by sub or points, minus 250. AJ by KO on points, plus 800. AJ by KO on points. AJ by KO or sub, plus 800. AJ by KO or on points, plus 600. AJ by sub or points, plus 650. Give me Seung Yu by sub or points minus 250. Give me Seung Yu by decision at a plus 150. Give me Seung Yu by sub at a plus 200. And give me the over 2.5 at a minus 118. Let's go Seung Yu by decision. 29-28, but I like the submission on points double chance just in case at a minus 250. A little bit of a safety play, safety net, just to catch you if you fall. Let's go. Seung Yu for the win. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. Dude, this card is pretty good. I can't complain. Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Ryan Spann. An absolute banger scrap. I know a lot of people are on the fence on this fight. I can't wait for this fight. Waldo Cortes-Acosta, minus 200 early in the week. Ryan Spann, plus 170. Now Ryan Spann is a plus 140. And Costa's a minus 172. The money's coming in on Spann, who's making his debut at heavyweight. Waldo Costa has gotten better and better each and every single fight. I know a lot of people don't like him because he's a decision merchant and he can't find a finish if his life depended on it. Excuse me, guys. I just ate. And we know he emotes a lot in between fights. Costa is a full, well-rounded athlete with a very good wrestling capability. And we know he's boxed before. If you guys saw my 6 best bets, we saw him in the boxing department. And he didn't have that much success against a straight boxer. We know Costa is on a 3-fight win streak, beating Lucas Robreski, André Arlovski, and, of course, Robelis the Fraud de Spain. His most recent loss, Acosta lost to Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, who we know just popped for performance-enhancing drugs. Matched up against Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann just snapped a 3-fight losing skid with the win over Oven St. Peru, who we know isn't at the start of his career anymore. Spann is 2-3 in his last 5. And this move up to heavyweight should be able to help him, but let's see how he does. He looks a lot bulkier. Ryan Spann has 19 stoppages and 22 wins. 13 of his stoppages are by sub. I think this fight will... This fight is a pick-your-poison type of fight. Ryan Spann by KO or Costa by decision. Let's go. I'm going to be picking Cortes-Acosta to win this fight. Cortes-Acosta by KO plus 200. Cortes-Acosta by sub plus 2,700. Cortes-Acosta by decision plus 220. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Ryan Spann by KO plus 480. Ryan Spann by sub plus 450. Ryan Spann by decision plus 800. Why wouldn't you sprinkle Ryan Spann by KO or sub? There's value. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, plus 148. No, minus 190. Over 2.5, plus 116. Under 2.5, minus 146. Fight ends by KO plus 105. Fight ends by points plus 140. Waldo Cortes-Acosta by KO on points minus 170. Acosta by sub or points plus 190. Spann by KO or sub plus 195. Spann by KO on points plus 280. Spann by sub or points plus 260. So if I'm on Ryan Spann's side, I'm gonna be taking Ryan Spann by KO or sub. That's what I would take, because he's gonna. A lot of these bookies are not expecting that this fight goes a distance. But I'm on the Team Costa. So give me Costa by decision at a plus 220. Give me that this fight doesn't go the distance at a minus 190. Give me Costa by KO on points at a minus 170. And then I'll take Costa moneyline at a minus 172. It's not that much of a difference. And just to be a little bit more, a little bit of a Hail Mary, I'll take fight ends by KO at a plus 105. Let's go. I can't wait for that fight. Let's go. Now, it's time for my lock of the week, guys. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. It's the weather, guys. It's the weather. It's getting hotter, so my allergies are out. Kevin Vallejos, lock of the week versus Seung Choi, plus 290. Kevin Vallejos was a minus 355 versus Seung Choi, plus 290. Now Kevin Vallejos is a minus 590 versus Seung Choi, who's a plus 410. This is an absolute good scrap, but the odds are a little bit wide. We know Kevin Vallejos is my lock of the week. He's from Argentina, and he has insane durability. He has competed on Dana White Contender Series twice. His first time was unsuccessful, being a decision loss to Gene Silva, which is very impressive looking back at that fight now. Finally, Kevin Vallejos is in the UFC. Kevin Vallejos proves himself yet again by getting on a 3-fight win streak and finally getting a UFC contract. Very good speed, power, and Kevin's bread and butter is in the boxing department. I can't even believe that this guy's only 23 years old. Matched up against Seung Choi, a fast striker from South Korea. Very good low kicks, 1-4 in his last 5. His most recent win is a decision win over Jarno Aarons. Honestly, Seung Choi might get knocked out clean. He has good takedowns and a great shot selection, but he can be chinny at times. I'm worried if Seung Choi starts wrestling. Seung Choi, most recent bout is a brutal KO loss to Steve Garcia. Choi went to split decision with Culibao, who we know Josh Culibao is, he's a little bit of a red flag. You shouldn't be losing to Josh Culibao. Let's go over the props. Kevin by KO, minus 150. Lock of the week, let's fucking go. Give me Kevin by KO, minus 150. Kevin by sub, plus 900. Kevin by decision, plus 390. Worth a sprinkle because it's not out of the realm of possibility. Seung Choi by KO, plus 1,000. Dude, that is insane. Choi by sub, plus 2,500. Choi by decision, plus 900. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, plus 245. No, minus 340. Give me no that this fight doesn't go the distance. This is a little bit of a tricky. Over 1.5, under 1.5, over 1.5, minus 138, under 1.5, plus 108. Fight ends by KO, minus 210. Fight ends by points, plus 230. Kevin Vallejos by KO on points, minus 360. Kevin Vallejos by sub or points, plus 250. Choi by KO on points, plus 490. Choi by sub or points, plus 700. I love this fight. I absolutely love this fight. This fight's going to be an absolute banger scrap. Give me Kevin Vallejos by KO, minus 150. Give me that this fight doesn't go the distance at a minus 340. Give me fight ends by KO at a minus 210. And give me the over 1.5 at a minus 138. And give me Kevin Vallejos by KO or on points at a minus 360. Lock of the week, baby. Let's fucking go. It's about time. This card is fucking stacked, bro. I don't care what anybody says, bro. This card's going to perform. I know this card's going to perform. Diyar Zagulov versus Brendson Ribeiro. Diyar was a minus 250. Brendson Ribeiro was a plus 210. Now Diyar is a minus 400. Brendson Ribeiro plus 290, which is absolutely insane. So, another UFC newcomer, Diyar, making his UFC debut at Kazakhstan. It's a very good place where the best MMA athletes come from. Diyar looked amazing on Dana White Contender Series with a brutal second round TKO win over Barson Shuechki. Diyar has very good power and he has a nice high kick, very underrated high kick, and he can mix it up and he can wrestle for an entire 3 rounds, or he can knock you out cold. It's a pick your poison. But we know that Diyar has that wrestling in his back pocket. Diyar is someone who I really look forward to seeing compete in light heavyweight division. But he has a very tough test ahead of him in Brendson Ribeiro, a powerhouse looking to slug it out, go to war, and see who ends up on top. Ribeiro has good takedowns and a very good shot selection. Sometimes he has good submissions as well, and he's very well-rounded. His red flag from Ribeiro is his chin. Sometimes you can hit him on the button, and he goes out. coming off of a sloppy win over Caio Machado, who we know Caio Machado is no longer in the UFC. Ribeiro's loss to Mingyong Zhang isn't that bad now that we're looking how good Zhang is. Ribeiro can win this fight, but he needs to make it ugly, and he needs to wait for the counter, and he needs to wait for his opponent to get tired. I don't know if Diyar is going to get tired. This is our first time seeing him in the UFC. Sometimes you get jitters, but from what I've seen, his cardio was amazing. I'm going to take the newcomer in Diyar. But after seeing his resume, guys, I think he's here to stay. I think he's going to have a successful UFC debut. Diyar by KO plus 100, Diyar by sub plus 900, Diyar by decision plus 300, Brendson Ribeiro by KO plus 700, Brendson by sub plus 1,400, Brendson by decision plus 800. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, plus 194, no, minus 260. Over 1.5, minus 160, under 1.5, plus 126. Fight ends by KO, minus 155, fight ends by sub, plus 185. Diyar by KO on points, minus 270, Diyar by sub or points, plus 200. Brendson Ribeiro by KO on points, plus 380. Ribeiro by sub or points, plus 550. Give me Diyar by KO, plus 100. Give me that this fight doesn't go the distance at a minus 260. Give me the over 1.5 at a minus 160. Give me fight ends by KO at a minus 155. And give me Diyar by KO on points at a minus 270. Let's fucking go, Diyar, for the win. Knock this guy out. Let's go. It's allergy season. It's already getting hot, bro. I can feel it. It's already getting hot. The flowers are blooming. I can feel it. 429. Damon Blackshear versus Cody Gibson. An absolute banger fight. Damon Blackshear was a minus 410. Cody Gibson plus 340. Now we know Damon Blackshear is a minus 500. And Cody Gibson is a plus 360. With this fight right here, I think it's going to be an absolute war. It's always hard for me to predict a Blackshear fight, but I think I got it this time. Damon is 3-2 in his last 5. Damon has lost 3 times in the UFC with 1 draw. That being to Hughes Law, who we know is on the rise in the featherweight division. We know that Damon Blackshear has a very good chance to win this fight. His most recent win is over Cody Stamann, which was a good display of his ability to club and sub. He hurt him, and then he subbed him with a nice rear naked choke. Damon Blackshear is always crazy. Matched up against Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson is much older fighter by 7 years, and he might be the taller fighter, which we see here, but they were both listed at 5'10". So I think Damon Blackshear is like 5'9". But it doesn't matter. That's why I love this last minute predictions. I think Damon Blackshear should be able to win this fight, but we know Cody Gibson is taller, and we know Cody Gibson can wrestle if he needs to, and he's also on a little bit more momentum than Damon, with his 2 wins over Brian Kelleher and Chad Ellinger. He showed a good display of his grappling in both of those fights, and he has 13 takedowns in the UFC. This is going to be an absolute banger fight. Give me Damon Blackshear to win this fight. Let's go over the props. Sorry, guys, it's my nose. Let's go over the props. Here we go. Blackshear by KO plus 800. Blackshear by sub plus 270. Blackshear by decision minus 105. I like Blackshear by decision, but we know a submission is very likely. Cody Gibson by KO plus 2,000. Cody Gibson by sub plus 2,000. Cody Gibson by decision plus 550. Over 2.5 minus 215. Under 2.5 plus 168. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, minus 180. No, plus 140. Fight ends by KO, minus 190. Blackshear by KO on points, minus 155. Blackshear by sub or points, minus 310. Cody Gibson by KO on points, plus 440. Cody Gibson by sub or points, plus 440. So, give me Blackshear by sub or points at a minus 310. Give me that this fight goes the distance at a minus 180. Give me Blackshear by decision at a minus 105. And that's it, yeah. I'm going to take Blackshear by submission on points, minus 310. I'll take fight ends by points. I'll take that this fight goes the distance at a minus 180. And I'll take Blackshear by decision at a minus 105. But I do think that he can get a sub here. But I think that if we're going to go Cody Gibson's tough, give me Blackshear by decision, minus 105. Give me Blackshear by sub or points at a minus 310. And give me that this fight goes the distance at a minus 180. Let's go Blackshear for the win. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. I think you can win this fight in phenomenal fashion. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a finish. Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holobaugh. Alexander Hernandez minus 185 earlier. Kurt Holobaugh plus 160. Alexander Hernandez minus 194 now. Kurt Holobaugh plus 156. Alexander Hernandez is a little bit of a crazy guy. He sometimes gasses, and he's only 32 years old. He needs a good game plan, and he needs a good ability to set the pace. Sometimes he can struggle as the fight gets later into the bout. Alexander Hernandez is a mystery box with 5 minutes of cardio. Good wrestler, good striking, good kicks. And he lost to Donald Cerrone after being so confident. He fluctuates through 145 to 155, and finally he decides to stay at 155. Overall, Alexander Hernandez is decent, but because he isn't a specialist anywhere, is why almost every single one of his fights is him facing the smallest bit of adversity, and he fumbles the bag. He lost to Billy Q by KO. Who loses to Billy Q by KO? Like, you can't get worse than Alexander Hernandez. In reality, I thought he could have beat Bill Algeo or even Damon Jackson. He's coming off of a decent win over Austin Hubbard. Matched up against Kurt Holobaugh. Kurt is 38 years old, but he's fresh as if he was 35. Kurt has very good pressure, decent power, great head movement, and is always competitive. He's 4-1 in his last 5, and they are both on a 1-fight win streak. But I feel like the momentum is on Kurt's side. He's beaten Austin Hubbard already a year ago, and he beat him with a triangle choke. Meanwhile, Alexander Hernandez is going to split decision with Austin, which is so weird. The fact that, MMA math doesn't always work, but why is Austin Hubbard going to split decision with Alexander Hernandez, and Kurt Holobaugh finishes him? Kurt losing to Trey Ogden isn't even a bad loss. His most recent fight against Kenan Kruechki was amazing, but he needs to work on his takedown defense. Kurt isn't as athletic as Alex, but he can sometimes be a bit stiff, but he has way better BJJ than Alexander Hernandez. Let's go over the props. I think I'm going to go Kurt Holobaugh, guys. Official pick flip, guys. I'm going Kurt Holobaugh for the win. Kurt by KO plus 550. Kurt by sub plus 700. Worth a sprinkle. Kurt by decision plus 700. Alexander Hernandez by KO plus 430. Hernandez by sub plus 1,800. Hernandez by decision plus 115. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, minus 156. No, plus 122. I think this fight goes the distance. Over 2.5, minus 192. Under 2.5, plus 150. Hernandez by KO on points, minus 180. Hernandez by sub or points, minus 105. Kurt by KO on points, plus 230. Kurt by sub or points, plus 270. I think this fight's going to be a little bit sloppy. It might look like a 1-800-GAMBLER type fight. Give me Kurt Holobaugh money line. I'll go Kurt Holobaugh at a plus 156. Give me money line. Give me Kurt Holobaugh by submission plus 700. Give me that this fight goes the distance at a minus 156. Give me the over 2.5 at a minus 192. And I'll take Kurt Holobaugh by sub or points at a plus 270 for more value. Official pick flip. Kurt Holobaugh for the win. Let's go, Kurt Holobaugh. Destroy Alexander Hernandez. Destroy him. Co-main event. I think it's going to be an absolute banger co-main event. Chidi Njokuani versus Alessio Zaleski. Zaleski, minus 185 earlier. Chidi, plus 160. Now, Zaleski, minus 200. Chidi Bang Bang, plus 160. 36 years old for Chidi Bang Bang. And 38 years old for Alessio Zaleski. We know Chidi Bang Bang loves the clinch. And I know damn well he's going to be looking for that clinch. He's going to spam the clinch, stay in the clinch, throw elbows in the clinch, uppercuts in the clinch. And we know that he loves the clinch even though he's so tall. He uses the clinch to his advantage. It's a good co-main event. Underrated. Let's go. Zaleski has real power, not only in his hands, but even in his legs. The way he's able to generate so much power is astonishing. He always stays busy, and he can get hit a little bit more times than I'd like, but he's always moving. And the fact that Zaleski took Renat Fakadinov to a draw tells me that Zaleski, he may have a couple more scraps in him. He definitely does. But he's 38 years old, and Father Time gets us all. I think Zaleski has great cardio for his age. In fact, I think that the fact that you could tell me that he's 35 and I would believe you. He can still find finishes anywhere, and that shows that his power has not gone anywhere. For example, Zaleski's most recent fight against Zach Scrogan, he showed up and he showed his full power on display with a brutal first-round knockout. But that was short notice for Zach Scrogan, but still, what Zaleski's able to do is amazing. Matched up against Chidi Bang Bang, one of my favorite fighters to watch. Chidi has great speed, great management, great pace, and he's always moving. He may not be as fluid, but he has 7 inches longer of reach advantage, and he's much taller. This fight could make that even. Zaleski could be more technical, But Chidi Bang Bang, well, when we're looking at this fight, it's going to get ugly. I think this fight's going to get ugly. It's going to get in the clinch. It's going to look like a scrap. And I think somebody's going to get finished in this fight. Let's go over the props. Chidi by KO plus 400. Chidi by sub plus 1,300. Chidi by decision plus 500. Zaleski by KO plus 190. Zaleski by sub plus 1,100. Zaleski by decision plus 240. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, plus 130. No, minus 166. Over 1.5 minus 205. Under 1.5 plus 135. Over 2.5 plus 100. Under 2.5 minus 128. Fight ends by KO minus 115. Fight ends by points plus 120. Chidi by KO on points plus 190. Chidi by sub or points plus 380. Zaleski by KO on points minus 170. Zaleski by sub or points plus 180. You guys know that in 6 best bets in lock of the week, the bonus was the over 1.5. Over 1.5 at a minus 200. That is an absolute banger play for me. Give me the over 1.5 at a minus 205. Give me that this fight doesn't go the distance at a minus 166. Give me Zaleski money line at a minus 200. And give me Zaleski by decision at a plus 240. And just in case, give me Zaleski by KO or on points at a minus 170. I'm going to repeat it all over again. Zaleski by KO on points minus 170. Over 1.5 minus 205. This fight doesn't go the distance at a minus 166. Zaleski by decision at a plus 240. And Zaleski money line at a minus 200. Let's go Zaleski for the win. Let's go, my guy. Let's fucking go. Now it's time for the main event. I can't wait for this main event. I don't know why Marvin Vettori doesn't look at him in the eyes. Just look at him in the eyes. What are you, John Jones, bro? A lot of people do this, and it throws me off. Minus 140 for Marvin Vettori earlier. Roman Dolidze plus 110. Now, Marvin Vettori minus 168. Roman Dolidze plus 136. A very highly anticipated rematch. Said no one ever. Italy versus Georgia. Marvin Vettori is only 31 years old with an amazing amount of experience matched up against Dolidze, who is actually the older fighter being 36 years old. Marvin Vettori has good volume, pace, cardio, and takedowns on his side. Even in their first fight, it was 1-1 going to the third round. Marvin is outstriking Dolidze. Marvin has a good double leg and a good shot selection, and at times, his win over Paulo Costa was very funny, even the build-up to that fight. Marvin is almost impossible to finish. He has a chin made out of granite, and he has never been finished in his entire career. If he loses this fight, it's either by decision or a crazy submission by Dolidze. Marvin has a chin made out of granite, and he averages over 2 takedowns per fight, and he is very defensively sound. A phenomenal takedown defense. Marvin Vettori's most recent loss was to Jared Cannonier, where he had success early, but Cannonier took over as the fight went later. Vettori losing is if you put pressure on him, if you put him on the back foot, and if you have some deceptive power. Because we know Jared Cannonier had that power, and we know Jared Cannonier just put RoboCop away. Marvin did the best he could to win that fight. Marvin most recently competed at ADXC against Tariq Solomon, where he won by decision in a grappling tournament. And we know also he fought Brendan Allen. Matched up against Roman Dolidze, a very high-skilled grappler. The day I found out about Roman Dolidze was his crazy finish over Phil Hawes. He always plots forward, and he looks to stay in the pocket more often than I'd like him to. Sometimes he spams overhand rights, just puts his head down and just throws, and he throws the kitchen sink at you. But we know that grappling is this guy's bread and butter. He can sometimes struggle to get the fight down to the ground, but once the fight is down to the ground, this guy is in his world. The last time Dolidze won 5 rounds was against Nasirimavov, where he lost that fight pretty clearly after gassing and not being able to implement his wrestling. His most recent win is a win over TKO win over Kevin Holland, and we know Kevin Holland broke his rib in that fight. Obviously, we know that there's rumors of a shoulder injury for Marvin Vettori, and we know that the last time that these two fought was in 2023, and activity and momentum is on Dolidze's side because he's on a 2-fight win streak, and I think that momentum is very important in this fight. Marvin might be able to edge this one out. I don't know. This is going to be a very close fight. I recommend take money line on either side. Obviously, the props are very good. The bonus from 6 best bets in lock of the week was the over 4.5. So, I think that's a good play. Let's go over the props. Excuse me. Vettori by KO plus 850. Vettori by sub plus 750. Vettori by decision plus 120. I'm going to be taking Marvin Vettori, guys. I'm going to take him by 48-47, 49-46, and 48-47. So, I like Vettori by decision at a plus 120. Dolidze by KO plus 500. Dolidze by sub plus 1,200. Dolidze by decision plus 330. Why not? Why not sprinkle Dolidze by decision? I'm picking Marvin Vettori, and I still will probably sprinkle Dolidze by decision because we know that more than likely, if this fight's going to end anyway, it's going to end by decision. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, minus 196. No, plus 152. I like that this fight goes the distance at a minus 196, but we know that it's not out of the realm of possibility that this fight ends inside the distance. Fight ends by KO plus 300. Fight ends by sub plus 500. Fight ends by points minus 210. Over 4.5 minus 220. Under 4.5 plus 172. So I'm going to have the over 4.5 as an anchor for many of my parlays. But do not automatically rely on that over 4.5. Just in case Dolidze gets a fluke or some crazy submission. Or even if there's some fluke injury. Don't put all your marbles into the over 4.5. But I think it's likely. I like the over 4.5. Vettori by KO on points minus 125. Vettori by sub points minus 130. Dolidze by KO on points plus 160. Dolidze by sub points plus 240. Dolidze to win by sub 3, 4, and 5 plus 2,700. Why wouldn't you sprinkle that? We know that this guy's a submission specialist. Dolidze to win by sub rounds 3, 4, and 5 at a plus 2,700. It's possible. It's possible. Marvin Vettori to win by KOs in round 3, 4, and 5 plus 1,600. I think it's more likely that maybe Dolidze gets a sub 3, 4, and 5. But we know that Marvin Vettori might get a KO, but he doesn't really get KO'd at all if his life depends on it. I think this fight's going to go the distance. So, give me Marvin Vettori money line at a minus 168. Give me Vettori by decision at a plus 120. Give me that this fight goes the distance at a minus 196. Give me the over 4.5 at a minus 220. And give me Marvin Vettori to win by KO in rounds 3, 4, and 5 at a plus 1,600. And give me Vettori by KO on points at a minus 125. Let's fucking go. Marvin Vettori for the win. Let me know who you guys got. I got Marvin Vettori 48-47, 49-46, and 48-47 on all judges' scorecards. Let's go. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let's fucking get it. Let me know if you guys liked it. Official pick flip. We got an official pick flip. I went Kurt Hullabell. Let me know what you guys think of that. And let me know your best props. Let's fucking get it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. It's about time. The best is blessed, baby. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Sorry for my allergies, guys. I'll get them better. Let's go. Thank you guys for being here. Peace.